Fancy some noise again?
In this video I explained to you guys all about the active exhaust on the Jaguar F-Type. As much as a cool feature it is, it's notoriously unreliable. So we've come up with a fix. Stay tuned and find out more. So today's vehicle we have in is this rather beautiful fire sand orange convertible F-Type R 5-litre supercharged. But this video is also relevant for the 3-litre supercharged and the 2-litre turbo models up to 2020. The Jaguar F-Type has a really cool function from factory, which is active exhaust valves. This can give you loud and quiet mode at the push of a button inside the car. However, the system doesn't respond exactly how you would like it to, and also this system is notoriously unreliable. But now we've got a fix for this that will give you more control and more reliability. So stay tuned and watch the video to find out more. Alright, let me explain to you the system as presented from factory. There you are, you stop your bonging, thank you. Let me explain to you the system as presented from factory. First stage, fire up that supercharged engine, yes please. Okay, I will try and talk loudly over the lovely V8 exhaust noise. So in the cab here we have this button, and simply when you push it, the idea is the exhaust go in loud sporty mode, and then when you push it again and the light goes off, it's back to normal quiet or quietish driving mode. Seems pretty good so far, right? But it doesn't quite respond how you want it to. It will also do other things, such as when you put it into dynamic mode, it will in turn put the loud exhaust mode on, back into normal mode, and it goes off. Well, that's not too bad either, right? But also, when you've asked for it to be in quiet mode, as soon as you apply a certain amount of throttle, the valves snap open and the exhaust barks into the loud sporty mode, which you might be okay with, or maybe not, because you didn't ask for that, right? But the car's decided that you're trying to accelerate a bit harder than usual, and it's going to open up those exhaust valves to give more exhaust flow. But the result is a sudden bark from the exhaust, and everybody's looking at you, I suppose, whether you want them to or not. Now, I'd love to show you one revving up, a working one, but of course this vehicle is here because the valves are broken, which I will go into a little later on in the vid. But even revving it from standstill, you've got it in loud mode and you rev it and suddenly it's quiet, and then it goes loud and then it goes quiet again, and you haven't pressed the button, it's just doing it on its own. Like, what are you doing? Make your mind up. I've asked for loud, give me loud. But I think this is probably most people's pet hate. So when you first start the car in the morning, from cold or whenever, the car automatically has the exhaust valves in open, which is loud mode, from standstill. Okay, so you could be out in the town, shopping, in a neighborhood, whatever. You just want to casually start your car and drive off discreetly. But no, the exhausts are going to be in maximum loudness mode as soon as you start it for a few seconds randomly. So every time you start your car, this happens. Let's hear it from the back. It does sound cool. why the exhausts are always preset in open loud mode, I'll go under the car after putting it on the vehicle lift and explain that to you now, hopefully. Right, this is what we've got underneath the car. So we've got these things on the exhaust here, they're active valves. So usually the exhaust fumes going through here, through this silencer, and then out through this tip here. But of course, when this valve opens, it gets a more direct pass with less baffling, less silencing, to give you a more flowing and noisy, sporty exhaust. And that's great if and when they work properly. So this is one of the active exhaust valves, and it's meant to move, but it's seized solid. So that's a common problem with these, that they seize solid. They can also snap, they can also squeak, they can also rattle, and that's just focusing on this bit alone. This pipe coming off it, basically it's pneumatics, it's controlled via vacuum, and it takes a very, very long route from that valve to this valve to a little control solenoid up here, and a little accumulator up there, and then a big long pipe from there all the way down here. This is the pipe work. That's usually there. Is it the other side on this one? Okay, some F-types I've seen it here. This one, not sure where it is, but there's a big long pipe that runs all the way to the front, to the engine, which is where it picks up its vacuum. And because it's relying on vacuum from the engine travelling all the way down the pipework to the accumulator through the solenoid to activate the valves, it's very slow to respond. It's not instantaneous like an electric valve would be. Further to that, you just haven't got full control over those valves, so they'll be opening and closing under phases controlled by an ECU, not actually controlled by you on the button as desired. I think it's time to remove the exhaust and install a bit of an upgrade. That was easy. 2 minutes work, I'm not even sweating. Promise. Yeah, we had a few rusty bolts and stuff, and rusty joints, but it's apart now. And let's have a look what we've got. There's the rear silencer slash muffler removed. Here's a closer look at the active valves. That you should be able to squeeze them in like this and then they spring back, but these are completely seized. You may be able to work them free, but I've also seen them snap here, also rattle, also squeak, and the system, as I've already mentioned, is just a bit rubbish. So we're going to be replacing these with our own system, with this. So you may have seen this before on our other videos. It's a stainless steel active exhaust valve electronically controlled kit with its own control module and its own remotes. So basically we are bypassing the standard ECU within the car, which is why we've got that. We are not drilling holes and mounting extra switches in the dash or messing around with the vehicle's existing wiring, which is why we've got a remote and a spare one in case you ever lose or break one. And of course its own wiring loom. And then these electric motors are much faster responding, they've got more torque and they're more reliable than the pneumatic system. So this starts out somewhat a universal kit that I'm going to custom fabricate into that exhaust. Now, it is the correct diameter to fit the F-Type exhaust. You basically cut the existing ones out, weld those ones in. We're going to be using a stainless steel wire and stuff as well, so it's not going to rust. But we also do some pre-fabricated active exhaust valve kits as well, such as for the 5-litre Jaguar XF. There's a whole nother video on that one on YouTube, so you can go check that out. But now I have my scruffs on because I'm going to be doing some cutting, grinding and welding. Let's get on with it. Now I pop on some personal protective equipment because I carefully and meticulously cut and grind away the old active exhaust valves. Okay, there's the new valves welded in. I removed the motors because the motors are plastic and these can survive a bit of heat but not as high temperatures as welding, of course, so it's very important I remove the motors, weld the actual, what do we call them, valves, throttle bodies in, and then I can reattach the motor. I decided to add a 1-inch section of stainless steel exhaust pipe there. The reason being is this valve is the same dimension as the old one, which is fine, but then you've got to cut the existing welds out and then you've left with quite a thick bit of material which is kind of difficult to join up again. So I cut a little bit beyond the welds, put the valve in, a 1-inch section of stainless steel, and then do 3 stainless steel welded bands, if you like, around the exhaust. That's both sides done, ready to install the rear silencer muffler back onto the car now. Let me show you something, this is important. When people modify the exhaust on these, like fit a aftermarket performance one or play around with the valves, and they end up disconnecting the original vacuum pipes, one thing they forget to do is blank off the pipes. So you might be able to see there, I've inserted a bung that's going to blank this off and the one on the other side. The reason being, remember these are vacuum operated and the vacuum is scavenged from the engine at the front. So if you don't blank these off, you're basically going to have a vacuum leak to the engine which can create poor running. Right, now I've just installed the wiring in control box. There's the control box sitting flush with this, so the boot little carpeted compartment won't foul with anything there. The earth point just taps into one of the existing earth points on the floor here, and the positive is fused and it's got a little device that taps into one of the existing slots. And it's very important that you have to install it that way around, so the feed, the 12 volt, comes in this side and actually runs through the fuses and doesn't come in this side and bypasses the fuses. So if you're installing one on an F-Type, that's the correct way around to do it. So now I've just got to pop the carpet back in the boot here and it'll be time to test it. Right, test time. So I've got the remote, battery installed, spare one in the glove box just in case. One day, you never know. And can we see it? See the new valves down there? If I press the button, yes, full control. The engine isn't even running at this stage. They do exactly what I want when I want them to do it. Anyway, should we fire it up, see what it sounds like? Alright, so I'm going to do a cold start in loud mode, which is what this car was stuck in previously because the valves were seized open. But even if they were working, they're in loud mode for a few seconds until the engine and vacuum system builds up enough vacuum to be able to close the valves and annoy your neighbours within that time successfully. So anyway, here's loud mode, and then I'm going to do a start in quiet mode. Okay, and here's it in quiet mode. Let's try another start. I think you'll agree, what a difference. Fancy some noise again? Well, I think you'll agree there's quite a massive difference there. Even when these work and you put them in quiet mode, under a certain throttle load, they just open up again. And every time you restart it, they're open for a few seconds. And during other driving conditions as well, they sporadically open and close. I don't know, due to the way they're programmed, due to the fact that the vacuum system is slow to respond. But now you've got instantaneous control and more reliable, torquey electric motors. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like this fitted to your F-Type, whether it be the 5 litre supercharged, the 3 litre supercharged, or the 2 litre turbo up to 2020, then we can do so. Please get in touch, give us a call, or you can send us an email, info@raptorcustoms.com. Hope you found the vid informative and interesting. Give it a like, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff people tell you to do. Go and do that. Thanks for watching. I'm Dud, Raptor Customs.